Welcome into another edition of That's Deep. I'm Tommy Z, joined as always by Johnny Bravo, breaking down UFC 314, Volkanovski versus Lopes. It was a decent card last week. I was up, I think 1.75 units on the sheet, hit a couple live plays, solid overall. This one, I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a fun card. There's a handful of favorites that are, sketchy. So kind of curious to see where you're at. But how you feeling coming into this one?
Feeling good, feeling good. Banger of a card coming in. Great card. Not the best showing for me last week, but jump right back in and try to make some money this week.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's jump right into it. Our first fight on the card is in the women's bantamweight division. We've got Nora Cornell taking on Haley Cowan. Cowan has been off for quite a while. She fought on the Contender Series I think it was in 22. She fought again in the UFC in 23. We haven't seen her since. We've seen Nora Cornell a couple times. Good striker. Both pretty strong. Both do like to grapple a little bit. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we haven't seen Callan in like 2 years. She's been dealing with some medical issues and some out of the cage stuff. Some pretty crazy stuff if you read up on it. Pretty wild. But here she comes. How much is her heart into it? How much is she, ready to go here? I mean, she struggles to get in the cage. So, I would like to see weigh-ins here for her. But other than that, I guess decent striker. Grappling a little bit to be desired, in my opinion, and just a middle of the road fighter, big girl. Both these girls are big. Both these girls are known for coming in a little heavy on the scales. So that's something we might want to pay attention to. But Cornoli is she's had a decent little run on her. She's a big, strong girl. She's going to want to try to push you up on the cage, grapple. The striking is okay. She has some finishes under her belt, so she has some power in her hands. So it's kind of interesting. Where is Cowan at? Where is her head at? Where's her heart at? How much does she really want to do this? It should be an interesting one. But it's Cornell for me. And I don't know. Maybe thinking maybe an under might be a little sneaky play here, but it's Cornell for me.
Yeah, I like Cornell a lot here. I like her striking. She's got good power. She's dangerous when it's at range. She's pretty dangerous. She's got power in her hands, pretty good kicks. Her clinch game's pretty strong, heavy knees in the clinch. And she can be taken down. We've seen that in her UFC run, but when she is taken down, she's pretty active. She throws elbows from the bottom. She does work her way up. And if you're not putting out a lot of damage, the judges tend to favor her style because despite the fact that she has spent some time on the ground, she's always active and she's always putting damage on the board. So, and Cowan's pretty strong. I could see these two getting stuck against the cage a little bit, kind of going back and forth, but to me, Cornell's got the advantage everywhere. I think she's a little bit stronger. I think she's got a little bit more heart. And like you said, we don't know where Cowan's at right now. She's barely fought since her Contender Series fight. And I'm not really impressed with her. She can grapple a little bit. She can land takedowns, but her control's not great. And, Cornell, like I said, she can be taken down, but she's always active. She works her way back to the feet. And I like her a lot in this fight. I think Cornell gets the job done. And I agree, man. I think there is a possibility of a finish here. So it's a little sketchy. It's still low level.
Did you read what's going on with Callan?
I didn't really get it too deep into I heard that she had some stuff going on behind the scenes, but I didn't really get too deep into it. if you want to talk about, yeah, I mean, I'm all ears.
I mean, it's kind of disgusting, you know. It's something to do with her husband and in some kid situations. So it's not.
Oh, that sucks. That's not good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So who knows, man? Maybe
Yeah.
she's here just trying to earn a paycheck. But yeah, like you said, they both have had issues on the scales, so that's definitely something to look into. We'll check out weigh-in, see how we go, but I think Cornell's, she's a solid. I obviously, you guys, if you watch the show, you know me. I tie these fighters to MLB as much as I can. I do have her to finish out a parlay from the MLB earlier in the week. I wasn't able to get it on the sheet, which kind of sucks, but I do have a plus money ticket on her. And I think there's a solid inside the distance chance here, I believe. And I may throw her in another parlay along the way. But yeah, I like Cornell. I think she's a pretty solid fighter overall. I think she's got a lot of heart, and she goes forward, she lands damage, and that, sometimes that's all you need, and I think that'll be enough in this one. All right, we'll move on to our next fight. It is in the middleweight division. Got Tresean Gore taking on Marco Tulio. Again, we're kind of looking at, semi-low level fight here. I'm not a big fan of Tresean Gore. He's another guy that's not super active, but what we have seen of him recently, he's shown that he's got a really strong guillotine. So if you give him your neck, you can be in trouble. Now, the guys he submitted, pretty low on the totem pole here, but you got Tulio coming in. He's got pretty good striking, pretty good forward pressure. Overall, I think he's got some upside. We'll see kind of where he goes in the UFC. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I was kind of high on Gore coming out of the Tough House. He seemed like a solid prospect, relatively inexperienced. He was coming through. He only had 3 fights on his record. But seemed like a powerful guy. Really athletic. But yeah, it hasn't really materialized too much in the UFC. I mean, he's kind of low volume, but like you said, the last couple of fights, I mean, he's got that standing guillotine, which is he's got the power to finish that. So. I don't know how much upside he has. He's dealt with a lot of injuries on his path in here. So I mean, yeah, he's getting in the cage. I mean, he's got power. He's kind of low volume. He is low volume. He's kind of not disappointed. Yeah, he's disappointed kind of, but I mean, he's getting some back-to-back wins. So I mean, he's doing something right. And Tulio. I mean, I don't know how good this guy is. I mean, he seems okay. He's got power in his hands, decent striking. He's all right. Minus 400 is kind of hard to get to. And salute to Tulio too. He's knocking back Norma, my girl. So that's an A+ side on his in his favor right now. So hats off to him. But yeah, this is kind of like, man, I don't know, man, if I could trust Tulio at a plus 400, man. And I think he probably wins and he probably finishes. But yeah, it's probably by KO. The KO's plus 110. I don't mind a stab at that. But yeah, minus 400 money line it's hard to get there, even in a parlay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably like maybe you take a shot on inside the distance. Minus 160. That's not very good. But yeah, maybe you take the KO stab here, and he does have power in his hands, sneaky power, so he can land. And, I could see Gore maybe trying to look for a way out if he gets hurt and just curls up. And yeah, I don't know. The pick's Tulio by KO, but I'm not too excited about it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I think Tulio is the side here. Gore's another one of those guys who I feel like if he had some time on the regional scene, if he, stacked up some fights, I just feel like he got to the UFC a little bit too early. Sometimes guys get on, they get on the Ultimate Fighter, they get on the Contender Series a little bit too early, and they're just not ready when they get here. And, Gore, he's coming off a couple submission wins, which is great. But again, very low level guys. Haven't seen too much from him that's really all that impressive. He's got some decent power. Like we said, he's got the chokes. He could probably snatch up a choke in this fight. It wouldn't shock me. But I don't think he's that good. I think he's probably better off fighting outside the UFC and working his way back. But sometimes these guys get here and a couple wins that keeps them here. But from what I've seen, I think Gore's got a long way to go. I do think Tulio is better. The main thing is he's got to avoid sticking his neck out there and getting choked. I don't expect him to look for takedowns. I expect him to come forward, put the pressure on, try to land the big shots, and that pressure probably going to be enough. He just don't fall into anything stupid, and he probably gets the job done. And like you said, I mean, if he gets that pressure going, lands some big shots, he could get Gore out of there. But yeah, I mean, I guess take a shot on the KO. That's probably the only way to bet it. I'm not super high on him, to throw him in a parlay or anything like that. So pretty low level fight here. I think it'll be fun, exciting fight. But yeah, I think Tulio's aside. And yeah, maybe the KO is the way to go there.
Ooh, KO 2-3 is plus 300. That's
yeah, I don't mind that.
That's interesting. I was high on Gore too. I thought he would beat Battle in the tough finale, but yeah, he just really hasn't materialized.
Yeah, and he had some moments in that fight late, but yes, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. Those chokes are always there. When you have chokes like he does, I mean, you could always catch something. But yeah, as of right now, I just need to see a little bit more from him to feel like he can win fights at a little bit of a higher level here. All right, our next fight is in the flyweight division. Got Sumadarji taking on Mitch Raposo. Raposo, he's got a decent record. He looks pretty good. He's looked good on the regional scene, but has not had much success. Lost on the Contender Series, and we saw him fight Andre Lima. He made a decent account of himself, but kind of just seems like another guy who's, maybe needs a little bit more work. Bit of a junkyard dog. In Sumadarji here, he's a tough guy to get behind, but he does have pretty good striking. He's got, an evolving grappling game. He's going to have a pretty decent size advantage in this one. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this one is an interesting one. Raposo, kind of a low volume kind of kickboxer. Not really. I mean, another guy that went through the tough house, lost, and got a shot on the Contender Series, and then, the Lima fight was, he did okay, but for him to win a split, I don't think that was a split. I thought Lima clearly won that fight. But yeah, he's got decent striking, kind of low volume too. So, and he's got some. I think he probably has some grappling in his back pocket if he can use it, but I'm not sure that's really his game. And then Sumadarji, I haven't seen him in a while. Usually when this guy steps in, it's usually all pure violence. Watching that Matt Schnell fight back, that was a pretty crazy fight. He's on the feet, he's long and lanky, he's got good kicks, decent striking, power in his hands. His defensive grappling isn't that great, but he can get some takedowns himself. Decent. I guess he's got maybe a decent submission game, but it's not the greatest. Minus 177. Sumadarji's kind of flaky, coming off 3 losses in a row. That's a hard price to get at. But I expect violence here in some way or form. I like the under 2.5. It's plus 135. I don't mind a stab at that. Madarji by KO. I don't mind that, taking a shot on that. But I would lean violence here and probably edge Madarji just because overall experience and just probably more finishing ability. But it's Madarji, but not at minus 170. I'd take a shot on violence, the under, or maybe the knockout.
Yeah, I agree, man. Right there with you. Not Sumadarji's not a guy I want to back at, almost minus 200, but I do think he's just the overall better fighter here. I feel like last year I was taking shots on guys like Raposo, who I just he's a tough guy. He can fight. He can make the fight dirty, and he can win. But I just 2025, I'm just avoiding that because it just failed so much in the past. So yeah, I think Sumadarji's aside here. I do think he's definitely got some finishing upside. He's got some good power. He's tough as nails. Uh, he's definitely got some holes in his game, but I just feel like Raposo he's just got a long way to go. He's another guy that's not really UFC ready at this point. I think, he go down back to the regional scene for a little while and probably do some good work and come back. He's a tough kid. He's got some skills, but, he's not super high volume. And so far from what I've seen of him, I just don't think he's on the UFC level. So, yeah, I like the violence look here. Sumadarji by KO, definitely live. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
Probably, maybe also a good live betting spot too.
Yeah,
just
could be.
It's a
Could be for sure.
volatile fight.
Yeah. All right, our next fight is in the middleweight division, and again, we've got a couple guys with some question marks here. We got Cedric Dumas taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk is a straightforward volume puncher. He's definitely lacking in the grappling department, but he definitely can scramble. He's a tough guy. He's got no quit in him. Dumas, I don't know. I'm not super high on him. He was taken down 3 times by Tululin, which I don't love. I mean, they exchanged takedowns. They both had 3 takedowns in that fight. Tululin's one of the worst fighters that we've seen in the UFC. So not overly impressed with this kid. I think he's got some decent striking. His grappling's okay. But Oleksiejczuk, he's another guy coming in with quite a few losses. He's had some tough outs, but he's also fought some pretty tough guys. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. He definitely has fought better guys than Dumas along his run. Oleksiejczuk, decent sized favorite here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Mikey O, the new addition to the Fighting Nerds. So,
that's right.
Hopefully, he's a fighting nerd now. So, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how that can, they can help him with his game plan, because usually that's where he struggles. The guy's got massive power. He's a good striker. It's his fault is pretty much getting taken down. But I mean, he's fought at 205. Now he's making the drop down to 185. So I think definitely he's going to have a big power advantage here. Really good striker. He can get takedowns himself, but he can be taken down, like you said. He can be grappled offensively, but I mean defensively. But then he could get the grappling going maybe a little bit on his own side. And it's going to be interesting to see here what kind of little adjustments. He's training with Kyle and those guys over there. So, I mean, he's at the hottest gym right now in MMA. So it's going to be interesting to see if those guys can make some minor adjustments on a guy who I thought is pretty decent. He just had, just on a rough run. That Chidi and Jaquani fight was I mean, him starching Chidi was pretty impressive. He went toe to toe with Shara, lost that one. And the Holland fight got submitted by Holland, which is not the greatest, but I mean,
Holland's got good subs though. It's not like Holland.
Yeah, he's got good subs. Yeah, and that's where his hole is in the defensive grappling. So it's I like Mikey O. I mean, I've backed him before. He's got a lot of power in his hands, and Dumas. I'm not high on this guy. This guy, I don't think this guy. I think this guy sucks, man. Okay, watching this guy's regional scene with him coming into the UFC in his Contender Series fight, I thought he would have some decent striking, and he showed on the regional scene like he was icing guys. He showed like some decent striking, some decent kicks. But I don't know, coming in here to the UFC, he hasn't really like shown me really anything. I mean, the striking is low volume. He's not catching anybody. He's not winning exchanges on the feet with anybody. He went fucking tit for tat with Abu Azaitar. He fucking couldn't finish Dennis Tulin, who, I mean, I don't know when the last time that guy's seen a card.
Yeah.
He pretty much just, like, he'll just take you down and lay on you, and just pretty much that's it. I mean, he does no damage from top, like he's just like pretty much the only thing he relies on is getting a takedown and just pretty much controlling you on the ground and not landing much damage. I mean, from what I've seen, so yeah, I'm not high on this guy. I don't think he's UFC level. I think he's gone pretty soon. Well, he's been getting some wins, so that'll buy him some time, But yeah, I think Mikey O ices this guy, man, puts him out. I think he knocks him out cold. And yeah, it's Mikey O for me. Mikey O knockout. Mikey O in a parlay. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oleksiejczuk, he's this is a massive step down in competition for him. I think he just does what he does, puts the pressure on him, and gets him out of there. And, like you said, he is training with the Fighting Nerds now. So I expect a good game plan. I expect his takedown defense to be slightly improved, even if it's not greatly improved. I don't think that it's got to be crazy to beat Dumas. Dumas, if you're going back and forth with Tululin, literally one of the worst guys that's ever fought in the UFC. That's just a bad look. And Oleksiejczuk, while he has been taken down, he's been submitted in the past, but he does tend to scramble pretty decently. And when he's on his feet, he's moving forward. He's putting a pace on guys. And yeah, this just feels like a great spot for him. And I think this is a good look. I think he gets the job done, and I would expect him to probably find a finish in this one. All right, our next fight is in the featherweight division. We've got a couple of guys who, they're all action, good grappling, both guys. Elkins, a guy who's, taken a lot of damage over the course of his career. That's his nickname. He's got it tattooed on his chest. Aros is a guy, his chin is not good. He's been knocked out 7 times. But, they're both coming off a couple of wins. Aros is going to have a little bit of a size advantage here. I think he'd have the advantage on the feet. Initially, when I saw this fight, I wanted to go with Elkins, but, the more I look at it, it's tough for me to get there. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this should be a fun one. I mean, Darren Elkins, the guy gets in the cage and he's already bleeding. I mean, the scar tissue on this guy's face, the damage, he takes one punch and his whole face is just bleeding. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. It's going to be a bloodbath. Any fight he's in, it's a bloodbath, and recently he's been showing like, man, he's still got it a little bit, man. 40 years old. Pineda was 39 and really had nothing,
Right.
And, Darren Elkins is tough, man. He's hard to put away, but he's getting up there in age. How long are you going to be able to take that much damage? It's like he's got good grappling. You can't really sub this guy. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever been subbed. Yeah, and it's hard to knock this guy out, man. You need like a sledgehammer in there, to put this guy away. He's an opportunistic grappler, so he can get on top and get some top control. It wouldn't surprise me if this. Arosa at minus 320 now. It was minus 400 earlier in the week. Some monies came in on Elkins to drop this line down, but it's kind of crazy. I don't trust Arosa either. He's kind of a glass cannon. It's either he's doing really well or he's knocked out in the cage. He's got a decent submission game, but I mean, no one's ever subbed Elkins. So I mean, I think if he jumps Gilliard or tries something, it's just going to put him in a bad spot with Elkins on top of him. You know, Elkins got good top control, you know, on the grappling. So I mean, Rosa here would just be to kind of just keep it on the feet and piece him up, you know. But like you said, that chin is cooked, and I think, you know. So yeah, I mean, this is a tough one, man. I don't know. It's like, man, do I want to lay minus 320 with Julian Erosa? No. I mean, maybe the over here. The over is minus 115. You know, Elkins is tough to put away. What's an Erosa by decision? Plus 160. I mean, I don't mind the shot at that. You know, I could see this, you know, kind of being a close decision here, where Erosa just kind of edges it just off volume and the more cleaner strikes. But yeah, this is a real tough one, man. This is, you know, money's come in on Elkins, and I can see why. But yeah, the pick is Erosa, and probably Erosa by decision. I think I'd like the over 2.5 too. So yeah, it's tough to put away Elkins, man. He's a dog, man. But he is 40 years old. So when is that finally going to be it? You know.
Right.
It's getting up there. So that would be my only concern on the over, which is these guys are probably going to go out there and bang it out, which is never great when you have an over, but maybe just plug your nose and take the over.
Yeah, so the past few weeks there's been a fight basically on every card. There may have been more, but at least from my perspective, there's been a fight where you can cash a ticket on both fighters. Me and you did it in that Loopy fight. You had Loopy by decision. I had the plus 3.5. Did it last week. I bet Murphy in a parlay that you and Sign had. We tied I forget the boxer, but we tied a boxer to Murphy money line.
Oh yeah, Torres
on the show. So I had the plus 5.5 on Emmett. I threw a couple units on that and cashed, you know, 2 tickets in that fight. I feel like this is a fight where we could potentially cash 2 tickets. This is a pretty big line. You know, the plus 3.5 on Elkins is probably going to be
plus
slightly
130.
plus money. So
plus 130.
I like that because if Elkins could come out here and he's not a big power guy, but you know, he could catch a Rosa with something. He could finish the fight, you know, and that would obviously catch the plus 3.5. But I think either way, if the fight does go to decision, I would lean Erosa. I think he's just going to outpoint him. He can out-scramble. He can scramble well enough and, you know, avoid being held down and you know, just controlled for a long period of time. So I think it's going to be a pretty back and forth fight. I'll probably be on the plus 3.5. Actually, I'm pretty sure I will. But yeah, I like Erosa with the overs. I think overall, if he's not getting knocked out, he's probably going to win, you know, a point fight. He's definitely got the striking, and, you know, Elkins takes damage, so he could definitely put some damage on him. I think, you know, Elkins he's not going to go away. I will say there is an outside shot. Erosa may be able to grab the neck. You know, if he gets the positions that Pineda had, I think he's more dangerous with the choke. So, you know, potentially could get there, but overall, I think this fight goes long. I have to go with Erosa. I just think he's just the more polished fighter. He's going to have a bit of a size advantage. He's probably going to, you know, have some pretty good minutes on the feet. And when they're grappling, he can hold his own. He's not going to just get taken down and controlled. So yeah, I like the plus 3.5, and I like Erosa with the overs or by decision.
Yeah, Rosa and over 1.5 is minus 130. That's
I don't mind that at all. That's not a bad.
The Elkins plus 3.5 is plus 130.
Yeah. So to me, it's worth a bet, man.
Yeah.
I think you can cash a ticket on both sides in this fight, and I probably will try to do that. But officially, if you're just looking for a winner, I'm going to go with Erosa, and I expect a dogfight. That's pretty much all it is. Typical Darren Elkins fight.
Yeah.
All right, our next fight is a massive one-sided fight. Looking at the odds, we got Chase Hooper, who's up. I think he's minus 900 now. Taking on Jim Miller. He's he's another older guy, older vet. He's been around a long time. He's got a lot of skills, tough as nails. He's one of the better guys that Chase Hooper has fought. Maybe the best guy Chase Hooper's fought. Obviously, Chase has looked great. His move up to 155 has done him wonders. His body looks fuller. He's a big dude. I saw somewhere, I think it was the Borishev fight. I think he was 185 on fight night. So he's a big kid. We remember him being that scrawny dude coming off the Contender Series fighting at 145, but he's grown into he's got his man strength coming on now, taking on Jim Miller, old savvy vet, dirty dog guy, just doesn't go away, doesn't want to quit. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Hooper minus 900. I mean, the role he's been on, I mean, him coming into the UFC, I mean, he was another kid coming in, 19 years old, scrawny kid, real green, really didn't have too much striking, was a good submission grappler, and that's all he had. But, he went through a little rough patch, but he's made a lot of improvements. Like, his striking is up to par, and like in the Slava fight, he was hanging with Slava on the feet, which was surprising to me, and he's pretty much just able to like take these guys down and just get the back, get dominant position, rain down ground and pound, eventually locking up a sub. He's made a lot of improvements. He's looked really good in his last few fights. I mean, it was against, another old man in Guida in his last fight, but it's still, he did what he had to do, got him out of there in the first round. Really impressed me in that Slava fight where how he was able to hang with him on the feet and just absolutely destroy him. I like Hooper, man. He's made a lot. The kid looks good, man, and he's filling out here at the weight class, like you said. He blows up on fight night. He's about 185, so he's going to be massive in there. And Jim Miller, I mean, he's been in there, man. UFC 100, 200, 300. He keeps trying to go for as long as he can. Another guy in his 40s, kind of weathered. Like that Bobby Green fight took a lot of damage in that fight. Yeah. Just not the greatest look. How much does this guy have left in the tank? I mean, why is he even still fighting? I guess probably because he loves to fight and that's all he knows how to do. So, it's interesting, man. It's, Jersey Jim I think he's in for a long night here. I think Hooper can finish probably any way. I mean, he can finish by ground and pound, or he can lock up a sub here. I mean, it's very possible, But yeah, this is Hooper all day, indicated by the line. I had the fight doesn't go in a parlay. So yeah, that's my favorite look. The fight doesn't go in a parlay. So that's about it. And it's Hooper inside the distance, but Hooper inside the distance is similar to the fight doesn't go. So it's like you're better off just finding a way to get on that fight doesn't go. And because I mean, Jim can always land a big bomb. I mean, he still has power in his hands. He's still dangerous on the feet. He could always catch Hooper. That isn't out of the question. So yeah, I like the fight doesn't go in a parlay. I already got it. So I think Hooper probably destroys him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hooper's just in a way better spot right here. He's younger. He's got the cardio to go for days. He puts up big volume, forward pressure. His grappling is when he's on the ground, he's extremely dangerous with the subs. Jim Miller, he's a good grappler too. He's got a lot of submissions on his record. But I just think, Chase is from that new school. He's very innovative on the ground. He just looks really good. I'm really interested to see where this kid goes. I think he wins this fight. He probably finds a finish. I could see him just ground and pound, just type volume on the ground. The line's huge, and for good reason. I think just Chase is in a much better spot here. So, unfortunately, I've been a big Jim Miller fan my whole career. But these guys eventually they age out. I think Jim Miller could still win a couple fights in the UFC. There's plenty of guys on the roster he could still beat. But yeah, this is not an ideal spot for him at all. All right, our next fight is now this is a good one here. This is probably the most competitive, exciting one that we've gotten to so far. We've got in the women's strawweight division, we've got Yan Janan taking on Verna Jandiroba. Verna is, her grappling is high level, extremely high level. Scrambles very well. Her striking's, something to be desired. And Janan, her striking's very good. She can be controlled on the ground, but she does have the ability to scramble herself. She's been up and down in the grappling department. We saw in the Weili fight, she got choked unconscious. She definitely should have lost that fight in the first round. But the rules don't always apply in MMA. So they fought on, and she ended up fighting 5 rounds, which was pretty impressive. Very skilled. Janan is very skilled. She's a tough out. Verna, if the fight's on the feet, it's going to be very competitive. On the ground, you think Verna probably has a pretty sizable advantage. Good one here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is pretty much the style clash, striker versus grappler here. Verna, I mean, she's on a roll. I mean, she's looking really good. She's getting that wrestling going. That's what she does. On the feet, she's pretty much nothing to offer on the feet. She's a terrible striker. Low volume, just not the greatest, and but I mean, once she gets this fight to the ground, she's like a wet blanket. She just transitions to all kind of different positions. She has subs. I mean, it's pretty much she gets you down. You're pretty much down there for the round, and when we've seen Jan struggle. I mean, she had a good performance in her last fight against Ricci, but I mean, Ricci just absolutely had no game plan, didn't even shoot a takedown, just decided to strike, which was pretty stupid. So I mean, her grappling is definitely going to get tested here. I mean, but she's shown some abilities, in that department, and if she keeps this on the feet, I mean, it's Jan all day. I mean, she's just gonna piece her up and destroy her. But yeah, I just think Verna's just on a roll right now. I think she's able to get takedowns and have success in the grappling. I think it's one takedown, the round's over, and that's it. But another thing that concerns me is, Verna's kind of shown some cardio issues in the past where she kind of seems to slow down in the third. So that's a concern where if it's close and she kind of slows down and Jan wins that third round at a pretty high clip, I think, if it's on the feet. But yeah, I think it's Verna. I think she gets the takedowns, is able to control her, and just, yeah, I mean, we've seen Jan just absolutely dominated on the mat, but yeah, it's Verna for me.
Yeah, same. I had thought about Jan because, she could keep it. If she does keep it on the feet, she definitely can win this fight. And as a dog, she's definitely live. But, yeah, man, Verna's grappling is so strong and her submissions are so good. I just feel like if she gets into that position, she grabs the neck. She's got leg locks. She's got all kinds of crazy submissions. I feel like you just have to go with the grappler in this one. Janan, she was taken down and controlled by Carla Esparza in the past. Carla is another, very strong wrestler. That was a pretty decent fight. Again, somewhat competitive, when Jan had her moments, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think it's a good fight. I think it's going to be close. Verna definitely has to get it to the ground, but I think if she does, she's live for a sub, and I think she can control a very large portion of this fight. So got to roll with Verna here, roll with the grappler, and yeah, I think she's definitely got a chance to finish this fight. All right, our next fight. This is an interesting one here. We've got In the featherweight division, Dan Ige taking on Sean Woodson. Woodson is an absolute giant for the division. I faded this guy quite a few times. I don't think he's the greatest. Dan Ige is definitely a massive step up for him here. But Ige, he's kind of low volume. He's got his holes as well. Definitely, competition wise, Dan Ige's fought the much better fighters. But the size is going to be an interesting part of this fight. Can Ige get in, land big shots, and is he going to put up enough volume? What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I can't pick a Sean Woodson fight if my life depended on it. I don't think I've gotten one of this guy's fights right,
Yeah.
And I think the one I did get right was the Saldana fight, but it was a draw. So
Right.
he almost got finished in that fight. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Woodson's going to be, he's a tall guy. Long, rangy kickboxer. He's going to keep you at his range, pretty much try to point fight you. He does have some power, like he showed in the Padilla fight. He put Padilla away, but I don't know. Padilla is just, I don't know. I don't know about that fight. Was just
right.
Was kind of annoying to me. I was on Padilla pretty big there, and he got crushed by Woodson. So I really don't know what to make of this Woodson guy. I think he's okay. He's a big guy for the division. He's massive. The striking is okay, but he's kind of just like a point fighter guy, Dan Ige, we all know this guy, straight warrior coming in. He'll come in on 6 hours notice and fight whoever, the guy's a fighter, 50K Ige, he goes out there and looks to take your head off. He wobbled Lerone Murphy, who had a decent performance against Emmett, last week. He wobbled him, dropped him, almost finished him. And Ige is he's got that grappling in his back pocket, but can he get this massive guy down to the ground? I don't know. That would be one path for Ige would be to wrestle this guy, he's going to have to get inside and land some power strikes, and I don't know, man. I don't know if he could get inside. I think it's going to be tough for him to get inside, I just think Woodson is just going to be able to keep him at range and just point fight him probably to a decision. But I could see Ige having his moments. I think this is probably a good live betting opportunity. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Woodson and probably by decision.
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this fight because I think Dan Ige is head and shoulders better. I think he's just an overall better fighter than Woodson. I don't think Woodson's very good. I do think he's a bit chinny too. Like he could be clipped for sure. The size difference always makes it interesting. Woodson's got good boxing. He's able to keep it at range, and he is tough to take down. He's tall. He's got great balance. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't like Woodson. I'm not a fan. I definitely think he's got holes. I'm going to take the shot on Ige here. Just take the dog shot and hope that the level of competition is the differentiator here. I just feel like Ige's fought much better fighters, and yeah, I think he's a better fighter overall. The problem again though is his volume's not great, so even if he is having success, he's going to have to land some big shots and have some big moments, which Woodson's been decent at avoiding. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with Ige here, and yeah, I don't know. I just think he's just better. That's all I can say. I think he's the better fighter, and one way or another, he finds a way to get it done. All right, our next fight is, if I could, there we go. In the light heavyweight division, we've got Nikita Krylov, another guy who's, we don't always see him. He's not the most active guy. Taking on Dominic Reyes, who we all thought was washed a couple of years ago, year and a half or so ago, but he's come back and he's got a couple wins under his belt. He's kind of looked like his old self. Light heavyweight division, similar to the heavyweights. One big shot could change everything. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I thought Dominic Reyes was pretty much cooked and washed, but when you're getting starched by like Ryan Spann, I mean, it's just not a very good look. But he's came back in his last couple of performances. The Jacoby fight, he looked, he got him out of there pretty quick, and he's looked good in his last couple of fights. Is he back or not? I don't know whether to buy in on him or not. People are betting him this week. I'm not sure. It's like it's iffy because you don't really know. I mean, he had some good performances, but is he all the way back? Is that chin still cracked? Or did the chin heal up? It's interesting. And Krylov, he's been gone for a while. All action guy, just good grappling, good submissions. He's finished I think 27 of his 30 wins. Big time finisher, decent striking, power in his hands. Yeah, he looks to get you out of there as quick as possible. He goes for takedowns. Dominic Reyes has a good takedown defense, but how is he going to be when this guy's just pressuring you? Consistently trying to get you down. Is he going to fold under that pressure? Yeah, and if this gets to the ground, I mean, Krylov, I could see just finishing it. Or I could see Dominic Reyes catching him with the big shot and finishing him too. I have the fight doesn't go as well in the parlay. So yeah, I'm riding with that in this one. The fight doesn't go, but I'm gonna pick Krylov I'm gonna lean Krylov gets it done here inside the distance. So yeah, but fight doesn't go in the parlay for me.
Yeah, I like that look. I like the under look. I worry a little bit. I still worry about Reyes' chin. Obviously the Ryan Spann one that stands out the most to me. The other losses he had are KO losses he had are excusable. I mean, he's very, very tough championship level guys. The Spann one was the one that made me think he was done. But he came back and he just crushed Jacoby. Looked like his old self. Looked great in his last fight. High volume, cardio looked on point. Yeah, I think cardio-wise, he probably is better in this fight. I think if the fight goes long, he's got the advantages here. I think he's worth a shot as a dog. Krylov definitely, he's fought some really tough guys. He's beat some really good guys. He's definitely dangerous. Some time off. Don't know where he's at exactly right now. So, yeah, I think one way or another this fight gets finished, whether it's Reyes late as Krylov slows down, puts him out, or potentially Krylov gets him early. I kind of feel like that's the way it goes. So I do think the fight finishes inside the distance. I'm gonna for my official pick, I'm gonna roll with Reyes here. I think if he is back to close to his old form,
public dog of the week, I think.
Yeah, which scares me a little bit. That's never really a side I want to be on. But I think if he is back to, I don't think he'll ever be back to where he was when he fought Jones, but I think if he's back to 80%, 85% of what he used to be, I think he can win this fight. I think the cardio edge goes to him. So, yeah, I think Krylov early, but I think Reyes could get him out of there late. So I'm going to roll with Reyes here. And, yeah, I like the inside the distance look for sure on the fight in general. All right, that brings us to our next fight. Another good one, man. We got Bryce Mitchell taking on Gene Silva in the featherweight division. everybody thinks Bryce Mitchell's kind of being led to the slaughter here by Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell's kind of public enemy number one these days. He's had a lot of pretty stupid stuff in the media, unfortunately. But this is an interesting one, man. I mean, his grappling's really good. Gene Silva, we've seen him taken down by lesser fighters. Bryce Mitchell's definitely got a size advantage, and he's fought some of the best guys. He's got knocked out by Topuria, which is, no shame in that. Josh Emmett floored him, which, that one was pretty bad. But again, Emmett is, a pretty high level fighter himself. This one's interesting to me, man. Gene Silva, pretty decent sized favorite here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, money's just continuing to be bet on Bryce Mitchell. Silva's down to minus 230 now. He was like minus 400 a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and I think, it's Silva, I mean, the guy's coming in with all the hype. He's looked amazing, absolutely starching cools, obliterating guys, just taking them right off the map. Put a lot of damage on Drew Dober, got a doctor stoppage there. Absolutely just dusted Melsik Bagdasaryan in his last fight. Yeah. And this is, these guys have been going at it here. We know Gene Silva, he's got the power in his hands. He's got really good striking, but, it's the takedown defense I have some questions about. Jourdain was able to get him down. And then there's been like some training videos that have come out, and it's where he's getting taken down pretty easily, in those videos that were leaked. I don't know if they were like leaked on purpose or how they got out, but yeah, I mean, he's getting taken down in those videos. So that's an interesting point, and is he going to come in here fighting with a bunch of emotion? He's coming in here, barking, and he seemed today in the press conference, he seemed real subtle than he was in that first press conference. That first press conference, he was going wild and crazy and talking a lot of shit, but this one he seemed a little bit more humble, you know what I mean? And Bryce says, a lot of stupid shit, stuff that, just doesn't make any sense. That's just, the guy's not the sharpest tool in the shed, you know what I mean? But, I mean, the kid can fight, the kid's got really good grappling. He gets you down. He's got real good top control. He's got good subs. I mean, he's a slick grappler, and he's really good on the ground, and on the feet is a little bit to be desired. He's got a good body kick. I mean, Topuria, he looked, halfway decent in that Topuria fight in the first round. He took down Topuria, controlled him for a minute and a half on the feet. He didn't look like a fish out of water on the feet. He did end up getting submitted by Topuria, but, it looked like in that second round, he looked completely gassed. He said he had an illness going into that fight, which it kind of makes sense how he just death gassed after, round two, or after round one. So that makes sense, But other than that, he had a decent showing. He didn't get absolutely smoked, Yeah, and and the Emmett, you can't really. He got sparked by Emmett. Emmett hits like a truck, You just flush, bang, good night. That punch would knock out probably, 95% of the division. So
yeah,
this is going to be interesting. Is Mitchell going to be able to get the takedowns? Because I think Mitchell gets him down, he can control him. You know what I mean? I could see this being kind of similar to the Dan Ige fight when he fought Ige. He kind of held his own on the feet and got timely takedowns and was able to, hold Ige down when he needed to or when he was in trouble. I like John Silva, but I've got to hop off the hype train here. I gotta roll with Bryce Mitchell and hope that he can get the takedowns and he can out grapple him. This has a lot. Sabatini, Brito. Everybody thought Brito was just going to go in there and absolutely destroy Sabatini, but the guy, Brito was on his feet for 30 seconds. So
yeah.
Bryce seems like he's locked in. I've never seen Bryce like this. He seems like he's super locked in and ready to go. So I'm gonna say Bryce gets it done here and shocks the world and gets a lot of people upset.
I'm kind of leaning the same way, man. I do think he can do it. And I have to say, when Silva was barking at him, and Bryce said, "You're barking up the wrong tree, motherfucker." Like that line. I don't know why he delivered that line perfectly, and I was like, "Yeah, I think Bryce is ready to go, man." And he's a big dude, and his grappling is great. It's way better than anybody that's taken Silva down. That's for sure. So yeah, man, I don't mind the dog shot here. I think say what you will about Bryce Mitchell, but the kid can fight, and in terms of being competitive with Taporia, he was more competitive than most. Uh, so yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going to take the dog shot here. I think Bryce can get it done. I really do. Silva has looked good, but you go back and you look at his record. Not the best guys in the world. Bagdasarian's okay, I guess, but not nothing special. The Drew Dober fight, Drew Dober can't take a punch. He survived. He would have survived to the bell if it wasn't for the cut. Uh, Bryce. I think Bryce. We have seen him. He got cracked by Taporia. Uh, that's what ended up leading to the finish in that fight. And the Emmett drop knockout was crazy. But again, you get hit with that shot. I mean, Gene Silva's going out with that too. So yeah, I agree, man. I think we'll take the dog shot here. Well, see if Bryce can shock the world. I guess. I mean, I guess people are betting Bryce a little bit. So, but yeah, I think a striker versus grappler generally lead towards the grappler, and it works out more often than not. So yeah, I'll ride with Bryce Mitchell as well. All right, our next fight is, I guess, a pretty good one here. We got Patricio Pitbull making his UFC debut. He fought in Bellator for years, champion multiple divisions, taking on Yair Rodriguez, who has come close to the belt in the UFC, but has never attained that. Very good striker, has actually a pretty slick grappling game. Pitbull, older guy, in his heyday, I think he probably smokes Rodriguez. I don't think he's the same guy that he used to be. Interesting fight for sure. The debut for Pitbull here in the UFC should be interesting for sure. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I kind of bounced back and forth on this one all week. We got Patricio Pitbull coming in. It's the guys. I mean, if you watch MMA, you've seen him in Bellator. The guy's like 30 Bellator fights. Like 17 championship fights. The dude's a legend. He's really good. But is he coming in a little bit too late? I mean, 37 years old coming in here. And his last couple fights, I mean, he hasn't looked the greatest. That fight in Japan, I mean, he took up a weight class. Like he got absolutely smoked and starched in that one. Which wasn't a great look. But he comes, the Jeremy Kennedy fight. I mean, he looked okay. I mean, Kennedy was having his moments until Pitbull caught him with a big shot and put him away. Yeah. Relatively low volume, but has that death touch. I mean, he's got a lot of power in his hands, and when he hurts you, he swarms and he goes in for the finish. All it takes is one shot with Pitbull. He's got grappling in his back pocket if he needs to use it, but I mean, you don't really see him using it in fights too much. It's that would be his path here, like, because we've seen Yair, taken down and controlled before. That's one of Yair's big weaknesses is his ground game. He can throw subs off his back, but he's a really dynamic striker. Good kicks, good striking, power in his hands. It's man, this is a tough one for me. Because I could see Yair just being too long and able to keep him at range and use his kicks and body kicks and keep Pitbull. Pitbull's going to be the way smaller guy here. Yair's going to have a big size advantage, and it's just, I don't know, man. I want to go with Pitbull, but I can see Yair putting them away. I don't know. I could see Yair catching them with something big. like a body kick and then coming over the top and finishing him. But if Pitbull wrestles, that would be that would be one of his paths to victory here, because I think it's going to be hard for him to get inside on the feet. So if he grapples, then I could see him winning this fight. It's just, man, plus 160 on Pitbull is real tempting, But yeah, I'm going to lean Yair. Yair gets it done probably by decision. Just being able to outpoint him and just land the more strikes, just be too long for him, But Pitbull's seen this before, and if he lands, I wouldn't be surprised if he lands that kill shot. I think this too is also probably a good live betting spot, because if you see Pitbull trying to grapple, I think you probably want to get on him. But yeah, the pick is probably going to be Rodriguez for now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he's just going to be too fast. Definitely going to have the advantage in the range. Yeah, I mean, Pitbull could grapple. He can land a big shot too. He's definitely got the power. He's fought the best of the best over there in Bellator, and he's a good fighter. He's definitely older. Size wise, I feel like he is a little undersized in this one, and Yair's just really fast. And if Yair is getting off those strikes, heavy kicks, heavy body kicks, I just think it's going to be a little bit too much. So yeah, I think Yair gets it done here. I think he could find a finish, but just overall, I'll take Yair just to get the job done. All right, our next fight is in the lightweight division. We have one of Pitbull's old opponents, Michael Chandler, taking on Paddy Pimblett. Paddy's looked pretty sharp recently. Definitely, this is a pretty decent sized step up here at Chandler. We talk about Chandler with the low fight IQ, but Chandler has been fighting literally the top of the division since he got here to the UFC. So this is an interesting one, man. Paddy's definitely he's shown some great skills. He's got good subs. He's tough as nails. He can land some pretty good shots, but Chandler's a tricky puzzle, and you got to kill him to put him away. So interesting to see what you have to say about this one. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I haven't been the biggest Paddy Pimblett believer. I've been waiting for a spot to fade him, and I thought the Bobby Green spot was the spot, and he shot a takedown and got submitted. So, I mean, maybe that's what I get for betting on Bobby Green, but
yeah,
not the smartest guy. But yeah, Pimblett, I don't know, man. I guess he's good. He's got, decent striking. He's okay. The grappling is pretty good. He's got some subs, but when he fights, he kind of leaves that chin right in the air and it's there to be hit, and the cardio, I don't know. I have some question marks about his cardio in that Tony Ferguson fight. In that third round, he looked absolutely cooked and dead, pulled guard, and Tony was on top. And yeah, it's just that wasn't the greatest of luck. He has been 5 rounds in Cage Warrior fights before, but that's been a while. It does seem to like he used to blow up in between fights like a 200 pounds, but he seems to like kind of kept that kind of in check from what I've seen. He's not blowing up as big, so maybe the cardio won't be as affected, and maybe maybe he'll have a little bit more gas in the tank. This is 5 rounds, which is I think it's an advantage to Chandler. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, do you think is Chandler just completely cooked and washed? I don't know. The Oliveira fight. He got pretty much got dominated until that 5th round. But he was able to survive with Oliveira on his back in some dangerous spots in that fight. And he had that long break waiting for Conor McGregor, which I think probably hurt him a little bit. but I mean, Chandler, he's going to come out here. He's going to throw bombs. I mean, he's definitely he doesn't have the greatest fight IQ. He's not the smartest guy in the octagon. So it's like a guy can make a stupid move at any time. But, I mean, if he can get takedowns on Pimblett, I think he can be heavy on top. I mean, get control. I think he can land bombs on the feet. I mean, I think he's got the experience advantage here. I mean, 5 rounds. I mean, yeah, I mean, the pick for me is going to be Chandler at the money line price. At the plus money on Chandler, I just got to roll with it. And yeah, I could see him catching Patty with the big bomb and putting him out. But yeah, the pick for me is going to be Chandler.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. Because we talk about Michael Chandler's fight IQ, but when you're fighting, like who looks like they have a high fight IQ when they fight Justin Gaethje, and when they fight Dustin Poirier, like Islam looks like he's got a high fight IQ. The rest of them are in a car crash, or Khabib, back in the day, Khabib. But other than that, like nobody looks like they have a high fight IQ against these guys. These guys are killers, and that's who he's fighting. And he had, he was very, very close to winning the Gaethje fight. He had Poirier in bad spots. Like he had a shot to win that fight. And going back to the title fight against Charles, he had a chance to win that fight as well. But these guys are just legit title contenders or right, next level below. These guys are all better than Patty. Every single guy he's fought. And maybe Patty can come in here and do his thing and show that he can roll with these guys. But I think if Paddy Pimblett was fighting the guys that Michael Chandler was fighting, his record would look a lot different in the UFC. I think Chandler could crack him, and I think he can survive if they get to the ground. I don't think Patty's submissions are better than Charles Oliveira. So yeah, man, as a dog here, I'll take Chandler. I think he's got the power to put him away. I think he's got the toughness. He's got the grit. He's got the cardio. This is the best guy Paddy Pimblett has fought, and I think I think it stops here. I think Michael Chandler gets himself back in the win column, and Paddy kind of comes back to reality a little bit. So, yeah, give me the dog here. Give me Chandler. I think he could put Paddy out. Honestly, I think it's going to be a great fight. It'll be fun to watch. But yeah, I'll take my chances with Michael Chandler here. Which brings us to our main event for the vacant featherweight title. We've got Volk, who many consider to be the best featherweight champion of all time, taking on Diego Lopes, who since joining the UFC has kind of, been on a fast track towards the title. He's looked very good, very explosive, well-rounded. Volk, coming off a couple losses. He had those 2 title fights at 155 that did not go his way. Very close in that first fight against Islam. Second fight was brutal. And then Topuria, Volk looked good against Topuria for a little bit. And then, Topuria did what he does and he caught him. Very, very interesting fight here. Is Volk back? Is he, are his better days behind him? And is Diego Lopes ready for the big moment? This is a massive test here for Lopes. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Does Volk still have it, or is that chin absolutely just cracked? You're 35 years old. You took 2 massive knockouts, But I mean, the level of competition he's signing the best guys in the world, And
yeah.
we know what we're getting with Volk. We're going to get a smart, strategic game plan. Good all-around guy, good striking, good leg kicks, good takedowns, good top control, good submission defense. We've seen Brian Ortega have him in some pretty crazy positions, and he was able to get out of those. So I mean, I mean, Volk's a beast, man, but it's like he's a legend, but does he still got it? You know, that's the big question mark here. And, you know, Diego Lopes coming in, you know, another guy I wasn't really high on and kind of proved me wrong, you know. He loses his Contender Series fight to Brito and then comes in on short notice against Mozart and you know, and has a good showing in a loss, you know, and just went on a roll, absolutely starching dudes, you know. And even though, you know, the Ige fight, Ige came in on like 6 hours notice and he couldn't get him out of there, which was kind of surprising, you know. And he seemed to slow down in the third round in that fight, which was also surprising because he had a full camp and, you know, Ige's in there pushing harder in the third round than he is. And then again, Brian Ortega, I mean, he kind of seemed to slow down in that third, but I mean, Ortega was just beaten up by then and really didn't have much to offer. Yeah, but you know, Diego, I mean, really good submissions. You know, the takedown defense is not the greatest. He can't be taken down. He can't be held down. He will try to throw up subs, you know, off his back because his BJJ is really good. But yeah, I mean, he's got, you know, good hooks, good short hooks in the pocket. You know, a lot of power. You know, he can ice you. You know, if he gets in there. You know, and that's where Volk is going to have to be real careful in these first couple of rounds. You know, just to not get that chin crack. You know, and Diego, if he hits you flush, he can't put you out. You know. So yeah, I expect Volk to stay safe early, and I mean, I could see Volk mixing in takedowns here and having some good top control here. You know, maybe sap the energy from Lopes. We've seen him slow in fights since 5 rounds. So yeah, I mean, I think Volk still's got it, man. I think he's got this one last run in him. I think he's just too skilled, little, just better than Lopes. You know, just all around. And yeah, I think he fights a smart game plan. He stays safe, mixes in the grappling, whereas on the gas tank and is able to pretty much just I don't know. I don't know if he finishes them, but I could see it later in the fight. I mean, if Volk gets on top and starts landing some big ground and pound, I could see Lopes going out. But kind of like the Yair fight where he kind of was taking down Yair and just beating him up on the ground and eventually got him out of there. Yeah. But yeah, the pick for me is Volk. Love Volk here. Got to ride with him one last time, and if he gets iced, then that's it for Volk.
Yeah.
So, but I got to ride with him in this spot, just off skills and just back class and just overall experience.
Yep, I agree. Volk's gonna come out and fight a smart game plan, make this fight. You know, get this fight into the later rounds where, from everything I've seen, he's going to have a pretty sizable advantage. I think his cardio is, I know his cardio is better. Lopes has definitely shown that he can slow. Obviously, he's been training for this now, so, you know, his cardio should be, in a good spot, but Volk's cardio is you know, elite. So I think Volk fights a smart game plan early, just push the pace a little bit or push the fight later and work the later rounds, mix some grappling. Just overall Volkanovski type game plan. Just do what he has to do to win. And we've seen some of these champions go down and kind of fall off. But I just don't think Volk is there. Yeah, he's fought literally the best of the best at 155, and you know, Topuria. I mean, I don't know who was going to beat Topuria if he stayed at 45. You know, that kid looks amazing at the weight class. So, you know, no shame in any of the losses for Volk, and I think he gets the job done here. Probably goes longer. I expected the fight to go. It could go all 5 rounds. But yeah, I think Volk has a pretty big advantage after the first, 2.5 rounds. I think that it really goes to Volk the rest of the way. So yeah, give me the one-time champion. He's coming back. He's gonna reclaim his crown, and I think Volk starts a new reign here. All right, so that's it. All the fights broken down. It's going to be a great card. There's there's a lot of fun fights on this card. There's going to be a lot. I think there'll be a lot of finishes, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. And there's some dog shots here that we're taking, so that would be nice if we can catch some of those tickets. And yeah, Johnny, if you got anything else, let us know. Otherwise, we'll get out of here.
No, that's it.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll be live. We got trucks, we've got Xfinity, and we've got Cup this weekend. We'll be live, obviously, for the UFC. So we will be live all weekend. So tune in and let's cash some tickets.
Let's go.